Today, I'm doing something a little bit different. I'm doing live commentary over a replay that I happened to play yesterday. And the reason I'm doing is because this game showcases a lot of very common mistakes you may or may not see in your games. And I want to point those out so you have a chance to avoid those mistakes yourself or punish them if you happen to be on the opposing team. Now, we're playing here on the map Sleeping Giant, and I'm spawning in the middle in my torpedo reload booster Yūgumo with a 4 destroyer game. And one of the very common mistakes that happen in this map, in my opinion, is that a destroyer spawns in the middle of the map and then tries to go through the middle into this A cap. And in my opinion, that's a very, very bad idea because there is very limited support for a destroyer when he tries to do this. The team that spawns behind you is partly blocked to this island and cannot actively support you. And when you run up through the middle and then an enemy destroyer has the same idea, you're just running into each other and basically are faced in a gunfight that will lose you lots of hit points and most likely results in your death if you're in a torpedo destroyer. And that high risk is just not worth it, getting the A cap early. Or maybe not even getting it and just dying for no reason. So instead what I'm doing here is I'm torping the middle with my torpedoes, hoping to catch out an enemy destroyer that tries to go for this play, and then I move over to the A side. A side because there's already 2 destroyers over on the D cap, and I think I should support my Benham over there. Unfortunately, this already leads us to the first mistake in this game. This Benham spots the black, a radar destroyer. He also spots the Riga, a radar cruiser over there, and then he decides to go into this A cap. And the reason I think this is a mistake is because we now have a torpedo destroyer in the A cap, which he might get or might not get, but even if he does get it, how is he going to get out of this anyway? Like, there's 2 radars covering this entrance. The force destroyer, a Kitakaze, has not been spotted yet, and if that one goes into the cap or the black decides to go in there, there is just no way a Benham is able to fight this and come out ahead. So you shouldn't go into this cap early, and as this will turn out, you will see that this Benham is actually getting heavily punished for us and then blames the team for no support. When the reality is you can't really support a destroyer in this A cap because all these islands here are just preventing any shots from getting in there. Plus, my team, as you can see here on the minimap, is actually covering up behind these islands instead of being wide, so they even have less opportunity to shoot anything should it try to get in the cap. Anyway, what I'm doing here is I'm providing the spotting the Benham can't provide, trying to torp the smoke, hoping I get the black or the Riga that is pushing up there, and just waiting and see what happens. In the meantime, what wasn't visible is a very, very unusual mistake. One of our Yūgumos in the D-cap got actually killed by Neptune secondaries. Yes, Neptune secondaries. Don't ask me how this happened. And now that said Kitakaze also entered the A cap and detected our Benham there, so that Benham is in huge amount of troubles. And he's requesting support in chat, and there's just nothing we can do to help him. Like, he even smokes up, the Kitakaze smokes up, even I can't shoot from this position. And to make things even worse, this Jean-Bart here is pushing heavily into the A cap, and there's just nothing we can do. We only have this line that can take shots. These 3 ships behind the island can't do anything here, and I just have to wait for my torpedo reload and hope for the best, but it's not happening. This destroyer is just dead. And as we also lost our shotland over at the D-cap, this means we're less than 5 minutes into the game now, and we have lost all 3 other destroyers, and I'm basically alone here. I would like to push up and get torpedo angles on all these ships here, but there's still Riga behind this island. We just spotted the black here. Kitakaze is in the A-cap. Chambard is in the A-cap. There is just nothing I can do on this side instead of just hoping that my torpedoes hit, which is not very likely because I limited myself. I'm running a torpedo acceleration build here, so I only have 9.6 kilometer range on these torps, and it's biting me here. Oh, Ibuki is making a play over here, going over this A-cap, trying to get in, and it's actually some decent kind of protection. I also don't know why this black is trying to get into this cap here. Luckily I was able to get a couple of shots into him, reducing his hit points, but no chance for me to actually push up and get it killed. Ibuki broadside to the Chambard here. Somehow it's actually working out for him. He's gonna get some torpedoes off and actually kill the Chambard, which is nice. And this guy in chat here is the Benham, who's actually a good player with lots of experience, yelling in all chat, blaming us team for his death in the A-cap. Like, there's nothing we could have done to prevent him dying there. The only way we could have stopped this is if all of our ships YOLO'd into the A-cap as well, so we had the firepower there. And that's just not something you do. And you pay attention to the chat in this game. Like, this yelling is going on until the game actually ends. Like, he just doesn't get it. I tried to explain it to him that he's a torpedo destroyer and he shouldn't be in this A-cap, but he's just spilling nonsense. Like, yeah, he has gunned down ships with his Benhand and he's actually good. But if you look at the enemy lineup, that is a Yūgumo, a Black, a Kitakaze, and a Jutland as enemy. Not Jutland, a Fletcher, sorry. All of these ships beat a Benham in a gunfight. Every single one of them. Anyway, we have lost some more ships here. The Ibuki is now trying to get into this cap. And I'm just trying to get a bit closer, torping these smokes, trying to get the Riga spotted that maybe we can get a kill on it. But it's not really working out. I don't know why the black is spotted here actually. It's a bit weird, like it wasn't me spotting him unless he is running no concealment whatsoever. But I'll take it. Get a shot, destroyer down. Makes my life a little bit easier, but you could just see it popping up here is still the Riga sitting, and like I was briefly deciding whether I can rush it or not, but since we're actually capping A now, I have no idea where the Kitakaze went, and I ultimately decided that it's too risky for me to rush it. Even if I get the kill, I'll probably die in return and then we have no destroyers left. So I turn around again, try to get torps off onto the Yūgumo and just hold. Meanwhile, on the other side of the map, we have a lone Georgia left versus a Fletcher and a Yūgumo. So it's basically only a matter of time until this Georgia is dead as well. Since the Ibuki is getting this A-cap, we're back even on caps. So we're not under too much pressure yet of losing the game, but we're still down ships. We're still down 220 points. So, yeah. Got the Kitakaze spotted. Again, I'm actually not sure why. It seemed like he was behind the smoke and this Minnesota should not have spotted him here. But it is what it is. Mistake of me, by the way. I should have kept shooting the destroyer. I don't know why I switched to the Yūgumo here. It was just bad. But with this Yūgumo, with our Minnesota pushing here into the Yūgumo, I think, okay, this Yūgumo is gonna die here. There's still the Riga, so it's actually time for me to leave here. Hopefully we get the Yūgumo, and I want to get over through the middle and try to get some torps happen from there. I was also expecting this Kitakaze to just run away from this side now and hopefully maybe catch him. And this lion here is actually calling me out on leaving him now, and while I kinda agree with him that you shouldn't leave your battleship alone. My reasoning is this: if I stay with him here, then we're just inevitably gonna lose this game on points eventually. So if I want to have any chance of winning it, I need to get into a more central position where I can actually do something. Because what is something I hate the most about destroyers is when you just sit somewhere and actually do nothing. Like sitting behind islands in a cap, not actually capping and stuff like this. I despise it. I think it's a losing play. If you want to win, you need to make something happen. And there is no way I can make something happen over at the one line as long as this radar cruiser is sitting there. Luckily for us, this Riga is actually making a huge mistake now, because he's pushing out of his cover, and so the line can actually deal with him, which is nice. Meanwhile, I'm paying attention to my relocation. I'm expecting the Kitakaze to come out of here, so I can hopefully ambush him and get him killed, and then we would be back even on ships, assuming the line gets the kill and I get the kill. But, to my very, very big surprise, what I'm finding here is not the Kitakaze. It's much, much worse. By the way, Georgia just died, and here is a full HP Friedrich. Now, that's another misplay on his part here. He's not popping his hydro. Maybe it was on cooldown, although I don't know why it would be. But what you can notice here, his secondaries are not shooting at me, which tells me that he has manual secondaries and he's not clicking it on me. Had he done this, I would have taken so much more damage here and potentially even died. So that was a big misplay on his part. He probably panicked, I don't know. He was too focused on steering or something and still ended up beaching here. So, yeah, I should have also not shot there and just tried to run and go dark again to not take too much unnecessary damage and go dark quicker after he dies. Just trust my torps. I would have still taken this shot probably, but I would have been dark right now. I still am, because the destroyers are not here yet, which is very good to know. And while I was fighting this Friedrich, our line got rid of the Riga over there. So now we're down 2-3. We know that the Kitakaze is pretty low. No idea about the hit points on the other destroyers. But I do know that they are coming towards me, judging by the radio location. Trying to get over to the line. I think my torps are on cooldown anyway, and my relocation switched over, so it tells me the Kitakaze is still there, which in my opinion is also a mistake. There is no reason for this Kitakaze to actually get back in the cap. They didn't need it. They just told me where they are. It allows the line to now push up again and potentially get in the cap, or into that gap to the cap, without being at risk of eating torpedoes. Also, our Benham is still going on, bitching the team that we didn't want to fight, when the reality is, like, he just suicided. Alright, relocation switch tells me the destroyer from over here is coming now. I throw out some torpedoes, hopefully to catch him. That switch of the relocation over here basically tells me that I'm not gonna hit it. But I'm getting ready to fight whatever I see here. Reaiming the guns, and here it is. Popping a speed boost to get out of it again. And we have another crucial mistake here. Props for the Yūgumo to remember that he has guns, but as you can see, he's shooting AP at me. And as I'm trying to angle, he's not doing a lot of damage with his AP to me. Again, had he shot HE, he would have probably killed me much sooner. Unfortunately for me, Fletcher pops up right here. My guns were at the Yūgumo, take a long time to rotate because IG and guns. And I also don't have adrenaline rush, so I'm short on my reload, and unfortunately I die because I couldn't kill the Fletcher quickly. In the meantime, another mistake from the Kitakaze. After getting this cap and actually running to the middle and get out, he decided to get frisky with the lion again. And guess what? He's way too close. He whiffed most of his torps, and our lion makes quick work of the Kitakaze. And suddenly, it's a 1 versus 1. But we have no caps left. I let the lion know that the Fletcher is at 1000 hit points, so it basically means he's a one shot. But realistically speaking, this game is over, and we have absolutely no chance of winning. Lion tries his best. He blind fires in the cap, knows that the Fletcher is in there because he was capping, and gets into the A cap, but something I would do as well. It gives him some more points for capping XP, and yeah. But what can you do? Like, our destroyers in this game were just too... Yeah, let's just say it. They were too bad this game. Like, we lost our Yūgumo to Neptune's secondaries in the decap. I don't know what happened there. Like, the battleships over there should have probably killed the Neptune when it pushed in, but the destroyer just should have gotten out here, sit behind island, whatever. You shouldn't get killed by secondaries of a cruiser ever. And the other destroyer was just with him in the cap and got killed by the main guns of the Neptune. Yeah, our first 3 ships to die, 3 other destroyers 4.5 minutes in. You know how these games go, right? It's not much you can do. You fight, and eventually you can only hope that people learn out of their mistakes. And Lion got the A cap back, but we're 70 points away from losing, or rather the enemy team is like 60 points away from capping it out, and that seals the deal, and we have lost. And our Benham is still bitching about their destroyers got the support. Unbelievable. I'm still trying to explain to him that he can't get supported in the A cap because of the islands, but he's just not getting it. Anyway, it was nice. Unfortunately, a bad loss, right? Or, oh no, we have another mistake. Mr. Fletcher. I don't know what he was thinking. He should have never been in that position. All he had to do was run away after capturing the B cap, and it would have been an easy win for the enemy team. But instead, it was another throw in a series of massive throws that ultimately led to a victory for my team that we should have never gotten.